Hello everybody, the Great Dino Ranger here again, back with another review. Today we're going to be taking a look at some more things I got for Christmas, and the next grouping I have is basically all of the other generic Jurassic World dinosaurs from Mattel that I got for Christmas. So this includes Chaos Theory for the most part, and then one Epic Evolution figure. So here we got actually four 2025 Chaos Theory figures, and then we got one 2024 Epic Evolution figure. So these are the other dinosaurs that I got for Christmas. I mean, obviously not including the Diplodocus, which will get its own review, but here are all the other figures that I've gotten, and these ones are really nice, and I'm super glad to have these in my collection. Specifically, obviously 3 new species in my collection, and then some really cool variants to add to my collection as well. So yeah, let's briefly take a look at them. Let's take a look at the Gubasaurus first. This is the last of the strike attacks for the Epic Evolution line that was missing. And even though it's not something, I was like desperately in need, I'm someone that wants to collect every single species in my Jurassic collection. Like, my goal is to have at least one of each species, so I had to get this Gubasaurus. And despite what it looks like, I think this animal, from what I've looked at, was kind of more, for lack of, I don't know, it was kind of more related to like sauropods, I believe. Like, I don't know, pro-sauropod like, I guess, but it's definitely along the sauropod lineage. So it's kind of interesting that Mattel gave it like this carnivorous theropod look for it. So very interesting there. But it looks cool though. It's nice for another generic dinosaur. So this one I may have eaten plants, but I think Mattel interpreted it as something eating meat. But I don't think there's a whole lot known about this guy, so I'm not gonna take points off or anything from Mattel, but it's just something that I never knew this species as soon as I saw it, so it's really cool to kind of have this one in my collection. The detail is really nice on it. It kind of reminds me of a Lillian Sternus a little bit from the Walking with Dinosaurs show. Which actually would this one make like a pretty sick repaint, I would say. But yeah, the detail is really nice, with the scales all over the body, which actually pop really nicely, especially here at the top of the body, and then the legs, nice amount of muscle definition and all that. So it's a really great figure. The sculpt is excellent, like I said. The arms are great. I like these little quills at the top of the head, look really nice. The teeth are really good as well, which interestingly, in terms of paint, the teeth of the lower jaw are not painted because they're just in the same color as this beige color on the jaw. So it kind of looks like they're painted, but if you look closely, you can definitely tell they're not painted. But the top ones are painted, so they look really nice. Definitely not as good as some of the other teeth that we've been getting from Mattel, and I think Mattel still has yet to apply that rubber teeth as treatment to these smaller figures, but it's kind of difficult for something of such small size. So I think these teeth are perfect the way they are, in my opinion. I just rather have somewhat good teeth than teeth that don't look good at all. The slit on the eye looks really good, definitely much more carnivorous than the herbivorous creature I think it's supposed to represent. But yeah, really nice though. The colors, I really do like the colors. I think this one was supposed to be part of the swamp environment, I believe. So yeah, I mean, I like the colors a lot. I like this green and black color with this white stripe on it. It pops really well in my opinion. And I think if the stripe continued all the way down, it would have popped even more. And I like the amount of green stripes on the legs as well. So it's a very good colored figure, I would say, in my opinion. And here's the scan code for that one too, in case anyone needs it. Articulation wise, the arms pivot in and out and they rotate full 360. The legs can move individually, but you're supposed to use the action feature, both of them together. Also the tail also swivels, but obviously I don't use that. Mainly the action feature is if you just push the legs down, it just moves its head up and down and chomps. So nothing crazy, but really cool, as you can see right here. And then obviously for scale, you can tell adult or somewhat adult Kenji here compared to these dinosaurs kind of gives you a good size comparison of all these. And I don't know how big Gubasaurus really is, but I assume this is correct, but I probably have to look into that. But really cool little theropod creature. Next, we'll take a look at this human pack from the Chaos Theory line. And actually, no, this one's from last year, I believe. No, never mind. I think it is. Was it last year? It's either last year or this year. It's one of those years, but it's still a Chaos Theory set. This is my first one of these smaller sets. So this is the Simic Defender pack. I think that's what it's called. So it comes with a Simic adult Kenji from Chaos Theory and some accessories. So that's really cool. We'll take a look at Kenji first. So here we got grown-up Kenji, which this figure is really nice. I do think the Kenji that comes with that motor chase pack is definitely much better because it has the blue and the green on his sweatshirt. I don't know what the status of that set is. It may have been canceled, or it just hasn't hit the US at all like other Mattel toys have done in the past. So that's kind of unfortunate. But as long as I do have an adult Kenji, I think that's really nice. And the sculpting wise, it looks just like the character. And he's got that really terrible hair that he's got that's nicely sculpted. I mean, yeah, come on. I'm not really a big fan of Kenji's newer grown-up hair. His hair in Camp Cretaceous was definitely a lot more, applied to his character a bit more. So, I mean, obviously, this character has been through a lot, story-wise. So, but the detail in his sweatshirt is really nice with the zipper and the folds in his hoodie, and his pants are nicely sculpted with his shoes. So, yeah, I mean, it's a nicely sculpted figure, and as typical, the head can move, and the arms and the legs, the knees and whatnot. So very standard for these human figures. So yeah, it looks really nice. I really do like this one a lot. I still need Yaz. I would like to get Darius with his yellow coat, but I do have a Darius. And then I think Yaz is the last one I need out of the ones that we know are out. We're still waiting for a Brooklyn and a Sammy, so hopefully we'll get those eventually. Accessories, he's got another tranquilizer gun, which is, I think, the same one that came with the Ben set. Yeah, I think it's the same one, just at different colors, but it's a really nice little accessory, nice little gun, to tranquilize your dinosaurs with. And it comes with another little medical kit that we've gotten from Zia from the Fallen Kingdom line. The only difference is that this one has the blue symbol on it. The other one back in 2018 did not come with that, so that's a cool little bonus. But pretty typical. You can put like a dinosaur's leg right there, and you can open this up, and there's like some cool medical stuff on the inside, like a first aid kit, some like needles, some antidotes or whatever. These little bags, like I think to check its blood pressure or to draw its blood, but really cool stuff, because I think you're supposed to have medical attention to this Stygimoloch, which is really nice. And here is the Stygimoloch, which is the same type of sculpt that we've gotten since 2018. It's just like the green one that we got in the Chaos Theory pack last year, and obviously the same one as the battle damage Stygimoloch from 2018. So it's the same sculpt. The only difference is the paint, which actually the paint is actually pretty, I don't know how, like, it's kind of a bit of a letdown because it's not fully painted like the other ones, or the Fallen Kingdom Stiggies. Those ones were painted very nicely, so I don't know why Mattel has kind of cut down on this one. I don't know if it's due to price or anything like that, but it's a great figure, great sculpt. It's pretty much the same, except just the paint is just lackluster on this one. This underside beige color, I really wish it would have continued down the neck and all the way through the body, part of the tail. These darker brown I would have liked it if it continued on the body, the legs and the tail and all that. We got some here on the face, which is really nice, and a darker color for the eye, which looks good. The white color for the dome, which is nice, and you got some light color for the spikes. However, this spike right here, I think even this little one should have been painted, because Mattel painted the other ones, so it's kind of unfortunate that that one isn't painted. So yeah, the paint is pretty much a letdown on this one, but it is still a solid Stygimoloch figure with the same amount of articulation. So there's not really much to go off of that, the legs and all that. And it does come with a cool little leg brace, since this is kind of like a medical set that we have here. So that's really cool. It's kind of reminiscent to the baby T-Rex from the Lost World, which even the Hammond Collection one came with that. So that's really cool. Mattel kind of applied that. And this one actually comes apart. It's part of an accessory. You could just place it onto the leg right here. So that's where it's going to stay. But yeah, it's really cool. Kind of adds character to this Stygimoloch. But yeah, I think it's really nice. We'll go ahead and move these to the side so we can get a look at these other big ones. So here we got the newer wave, or this most recent wave of the Wild Roars for the Chaos Theory line for this year. I only have 3 out of the 4. I didn't really want the Pteranodon. We have so many Pteranodons. I'm going to wait till we get like a really cool new one. But I think right now I'm kind of done with Pteranodons unless there's like another one in the Hammond Collection. But these are the ones I wanted mostly. Let's take a look at this one, since this one is not a new species, but here we got a new Kentrosaurus, which this one looks really great. The details is awesome. It's actually slightly a retool from the original, which we'll do comparisons in a little bit. But yeah, I really do like this one a lot. I think the main thing I love is the amount of damage this figure has in its sculpt, like the amount of scratch marks and just these, like this thing has been through a lot. Like look at these huge gashes all over the body. I think painting these in would look so good on these figures. I think that's definitely something I'm going to try to do later down the line. So seeing this amount of damage on this dinosaur is really cool. Here on the plates as well, you see some chunks of the plates have been ripped out. Even here at the classic tail spikes of the Kentro, this tip of the spike here has been broken off. Even larger chunk of this spike has been torn off. So this animal has definitely been through a lot. Here on this face, you got some more scratch marks on its face right there, and on its body, some more gash marks, especially here on the leg. So really cool stuff. I love this amount of scars that Mattel's been putting on these newer figures. They look really nice. And then the colors are really nice too. Very simple, but it works, like with this green and this purplish brown, the kind of splotches. Again, would have been nice if they continued the splotches over the body. And I think the colors here, I think could have been a bit better. Like I think the plates could have been orange, and maybe these spikes could have been like a lighter beige color. So it's kind of weird seeing orange spikes here on the shoulders right here. The head sculpt looks great with the yellow eye. And one thing to note too is that these shoulder spikes are actually a softer rubber, so they're not as hard as the other ones. Even all of these plates have softer rubber, so that's really cool. And obviously the one that's not softer rubber is actually the scan code. So there's that. And even all these spikes are all softer rubber too, so that's really cool. That's definitely a difference from the previous one. There's even a few differences here, which we'll take a look at the end. But articulation is pretty much the same as the previous Kentro that we've gotten back in 2021, except this one's missing head articulation. But here at the tail, this one's not articulated. This is part of the action feature. It's pretty much the same thing as the other one, just you're just moving it with the tail and not the annoying button on the top. And it's the same sounds too, so that's really cool. Next up here is the Ceratasucops, a new Spinosaur from Mattel, which this thing looks awesome. The detail on it is just great. Yeah, because it's a new species, so there's a whole lot new things going on here. At the head, it looks sweet. I love this new Spinosaur head. And this thing, just like the Kentro, is covered in a lot of these battle wounds and scars. So like I said, painting this in would be really cool too. And here at the mouth, the new rubber teeth look awesome on this Spino. Looks really great. And then you got this cool little interesting crest here at the top. And this is a somewhat new species as well too, somewhat recently discovered. And this thing actually, I think, lived with baryonyx, so this will be really cool to pose it with baryonyx. Got some cool little spikes up here that are made of a softer material. Nice little sail up here, which looks good, and a little bit of sail here on the tail, which again looks really nice. I love the smaller feet. It looks so good on these figures. And yeah, just the overall detail, especially here on the face, it just looks so good. The detail, man, Mattel, you guys are doing awesome with these ones. And some more. Like, look at this huge gash right here. Painting this in would look so cool. And yeah, I mean, I like the colors in this one a lot. Here's the scan code for that. The colors are really cool. Remind me of a wasp. More of a wasp than a bumblebee, or just any kind of bee. Just because of the tone of the yellow and the black. It's a very interesting color for this Spinosaur. But it works. I mean, it would have been nice for it to continue down the tail, obviously, but it does look really good for what it is. I like how it transitions from like a yellow with black stripes into just a black color with yellow stripes. So that's a really cool little transition there. So yeah, this figure is really great. Articulation, you know, the arms can move 360. They can pivot in and out. The arms are also made of this rubber, softer material. So that's definitely a difference from past figures. The legs can also move forward and backwards individually, which is nice, and they don't pivot in and out, which I think to me is also a bonus, because you're not having to fiddle around with the legs just to get it to stand. You can just basically just stand it there and then it stands. So that's really cool. You also got the tip of the tail, which is right. Does it move? Oh, I'm trying to see where's the seam at. Oh yeah, there's a seam. Actually, I don't even think it does move, or does it move? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, it does move. Okay, so there's that, but it's actually really tight on this one, so I don't have to worry about it getting loose or anything. But yeah, and look at the little bumps it has on the sculpt. Really cool. The scales and the muscle definition on these newer species are really nice. Man, I can't wait to see what else Mattel has in store with us this year. Not only just in terms of just random Jurassic figures, but also we got the new movie coming out, so it's awesome to think about all these cool little things. So yeah, really great sculpt right here. Action feature. This newer thing with these Rod Wars is very similar to the Primal Attack toy line from 2020, where you get to move and control the dinosaur with the tail. I love that gimmick. One of my favorite gimmicks from Mattel, I would say. So it's kind of cool how they're kind of bringing this back. And all you have to do is basically just move the tail around. So moving it up and down will make the head move, and it makes it chomp, and it gives out some classic Jurassic Park 3 Spinosaurus sounds, which works for a Spinosaur, so I'm not going to complain there. It's better than the T-Rex. And I think you can also rotate, which doesn't produce any sounds, but it is really cool. Really reminds me of the Primal Attack toy line, which is a toy line I really like. I like the gimmick, like I said. So really cool. And then next up, we got the Cryptops, which is another Abelisaur, which Mattel has been doing really nicely, providing us with so many dinosaurs of one family group. So here we have, you know, not only another Spinosaur, but we got another Abelisaur. And this is the Cryptops. So this is one that we've gotten from a mini dinosaur, and now we got a bigger figure. And I really like this one a lot. The detail on this figure is amazing, especially in the face. Like, look at that face. The detail is super great on this one. I'm astonished. And look at the teeth. Look how sharp the teeth look. Mattel is improving, and I love it so much. Just look how I like how realistic and sharp the teeth look, and it's the rubber material. So that's really awesome. I love it a lot. Even these little spikes right here on the top of the snout are actually a separate piece that's actually a softer rubber. You know, the cool little keratinous coverings and bumps that Abelisaurs are famous for having. So I think Cryptops actually is a dinosaur that lived in Africa. So this is something that would have encountered, or at least during the time it lived in, you know, like Ouranosaurus and Suchomimus and all that. So that's really cool. These spikes right here at the top are also rubber material, and you can see some here are broken off. And some more spikes here along the back that are also rubber, and some more here at the tip of the tail. And actually, speaking of broken off, we got some scars on this guy too. Look, he got some scars in its face, here at the neck, even some on its little arms, on its body. Just some more lighter scratches, not anything too major like the Ceratasucops and the Kentro. But yeah, it just looks really cool. You got some scars around the eye right there that kind of slashes through it, so that'll be fun to paint in. And some more throughout the body. Looks really nice. And the amount of, like I said, the scale detail on this one is great. You got some nice little bumps right here, which are classic osteoderm rows, like all Abelisaurs pretty much had. Got some larger ones here at towards the end of the tail. Some nice wrinkles in the skin, some muscle definition. The feet look nicely sculpted. Nice sharp claws. Hey, look at the leg. Look at the amount of detail Mattel put in the leg. It looks really great, and it pops, and you can feel it too. It feels very realistic. Got some nice larger scoots right here around the knee area of the leg. And just the overall detail all over the head and the neck. You got some more spikes here at the neck area. So this thing is covered in bumps and spikes, which is actually something I like to characterize Abelisaur as having. So yeah, the only thing I would say is a downside is how big the arms are. For a Abelisaur, they're supposed to have tiny arms. So this one's a little bit too big for my liking. I kind of wish they were smaller. Mattel has done this quite a few times with their Abelisaurs, especially with the Rajasaurs. Those arms are just way too long. And this, unfortunately, this Cryptops suffers from this larger hand syndrome, I guess you could call it. Oh yeah, I forgot about the scales here. The lower jaw looks really great. Really great stuff. And the inside of the mouth is nicely sculpted. It's actually very shiny too. So it looks like it's wet with saliva, which gives it like that realistic look. So yeah, detail-wise, this thing is like, gets an A for sure. Colors, the colors are really nice too. I like the brown, the lighter brown with some dark brown kind of striping all over the body and the legs, and the brown around the head, and this lighter brown around the eye, which is really nice, and the yellow greenish eye with the dark pupil pops. And then you got the lighter color right here, which would have been nice if it continued, but this thing does feel very complete, unlike some other figures that we've gotten before in the past. And also, I also forgot, this part of tail, look at his tail. A chunk of his tail is missing. The tip of it is missing. So that's a cool little damage piece to kind of show. This thing has been through a fight where it literally lost the tip of its tail from it being literally chomped right off, which is pretty interesting. Imagine a figure like this where it is sculpted in a way where this dinosaur actually lost a hand. So like it wouldn't even have this hand. It would just have like it, like this little piece like that in there. That'd be a really cool little touch. Scan code, here's that. So yeah, I really love this Cryptops, and actually would be even better if it had smaller proportionate hands, but for what it is, it still looks good for what it is. So for the articulation, the arms can still move, and it's also made of that softer material, and the legs can still move, just like the Stratoseucops. Then the tail, you can twist it like that, and it can move up and down, which gives us some sounds. Did you guys catch that Allosaurus sound from the Battle of Big Rock or Dominion? I love that Allosaurus sound. Oh, I guess that could work too. All right, that was obviously the Indominus, but really cool sounds. I actually don't really hear too much Carnotaurus sounds in this, which is pretty interesting. I heard the Allosaurus, and I heard Indominus, and I heard some other growls. Kind of hard to make out right now, but really cool stuff. So let's go ahead and jump into some quick comparisons. So real quick, here we have the newer Chaos Theory Kentrosaurus with the Dinoscape Kentrosaurus from the Camp Cretaceous line back in 2021. And as you can see, they're pretty much the same. Obviously different colors, and there's obviously some difference in the sculpt, like the scars all over this one and the broken spikes, and this one has them all intact. There's also a few other differences as well, such as the heads. You see the heads are slightly different. This one has its mouth open, and it has like this really, like, I feel like way too deep of an arch on its snout, which kind of gives it like a weird look to it. But and then you got this one right here, which has its closed mouth. The front limbs are slightly different. And then I think, yeah, see the, oh yeah, the front limb on this one is definitely different. This one has more of a curvature to it. So that's really cool. And obviously the spikes and the plates on this one are actually a harder plastic. So yeah, I mean, it's nice to have two Kentrosauruses, and I think these two look really nicely together. And then here, quickly, we have the newer Chaos Theory Defender Pack Digimon compared with the others of this similar sculpt. And as you can see, they are basically all the same sculpt with some few differences. Like this one has the battle damage feature and all that. But as you can see, the paint, like I said before, the paint job on this one is definitely much better because it's got the toe claws painted. It's got more paint all over the body and the tail. So it's unfortunate that this newer one does not have that, but these two, all three of these look really great. And as you can see here, these two smaller spikes are painted, and on this one they are not. So it kind of adds to the lower paint quality on that one. But you know, it is what it is. And we'll go ahead and compare our Chaos Theory Kenji with the Camp Cretaceous Kenji. So as you can see, there are some differences. Obviously, one looks more more stylized because it's an animated show, but I like how realistic Mattel's been making their stylized figures now, and they look really good. Obviously, Kenji's hair is much better on this figure than on this one, and it's kind of cool to see the evolution of one character throughout the years. So I think those ones are pretty cool in their own way. So that's about to wrap it up for this quick little review. Hopefully, I just wanted to get through all of these, and I hope you guys like this review ish of these Chaos Theory or Epic Evolution figures. I'm really happy with all these. I definitely would say I highly recommend the Wild Roar figures from the Chaos Theory line. They're extremely great. The detail is just phenomenal on them. And if you're someone like me who wants to collect all the species, it's definitely worth it getting like all these other obscure ones like the Gubasaurus. And I think these human packs are probably great too, since these are the only ones that are currently out. So if you want to get all the Chaos Theory humans, this is the only sets where you can get them in. So really nice there. And yeah, that marks the end of this review. Next up, we'll take a look at I think it's either going to be Mothra or the Safari figures that I got. But so yeah, so stay tuned for that one, and hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll see you guys again for the next one.